Well, hello. It is Wednesday, and that means it is Wine Wednesday here in the Organizing Lounge. Thank you so much for being here. If you are not here during the live, thank you for watching the replay. I'm going to do my housekeeping real quick to make sure that you can see me and I can see your comments. Okay, there I am. And there's some eyeballs. So, hey, hello. Hi. I can't see who you are, but hello. Oh, hey, Trish. I can see. All righty. Okay, so I am excited about tonight. We are talking about productivity saboteurs, and this is something that affects everyone, whether you are working out of the home, whether you are working out of the office, whether you have your own business, whether you don't have a business, and you are in whatever you're doing. We're talking about productivity, so it doesn't have to have anything to do with work, but for those that have working in an office or working for a business. And actually, I don't even know what I'm saying. It's everything. It's working, right? When we have a whole lot going on, we want to be productive. When we're doing our housework, we want to be productive. When we are, trying to fit everything in with our family, we want and need to be productive, right? So tonight is good for everybody and everything. Hey, Christine. Hey, Gina. Hi, Rosita. All right. I hope everybody has their beverage of choice. I have a little bit of wine tonight. I had to go to the grocery store because I didn't want to pretend that I had wine. That would have made me sad. So I had to run to the grocery store and I just got back. All righty. So for those of you that don't know who I am, if you're new to the group, my name is Melinda Wieland. I live in Austin, Texas. I'm a professional organizer, and the Organizing Lounge and the Organizing Lab are my babies. I created the Organizing Lounge to hang out with all of you and share everything that I know about organizing, and also create this Wine Wednesday so that I can do that as well, hang out, help, answer questions, bring up topics, talk about them, and of course, have a little bit of wine while we're at it. Okay, so tonight, productivity saboteurs that wreck more than your time. So first, what is a saboteur? I won't assume everybody knows. Maybe everybody does know what a saboteur is, but a saboteur is one that intends to sabotage. So it's something or someone that sabotages, that is going to sabotage, that intends on sabotaging. And so what productivity saboteurs are is, it's things that ruin our productivity, and they ruin more than just time. So when you think of productivity, and I'll ask you, those of you that are here, when you think of productivity and what it affects, what do you think of immediately? So like when I say, productivity affects what would you say? So if you can type it in, I know that there's just a few on live right now, but if you can type it in, what do you think of automatically when I say productivity? Like what word do you think of? Because it is, and I'll, whoops, I just swiped something on my computer. I'm interested to hear or read what you have to say, because typically what we usually think of is one thing, and then there's other things that it actually can affect as well. So I'm not seeing anything on here, so that's okay. The first thing that I think about when I say productivity or I hear productivity is time. So when you say, I really want to be productive, I am thinking, I really want to do a lot in a short amount of time. I really want to be productive. I want to work. Thank you. Hey, Carla, getting things done. Yeah, productive, getting things done in a certain amount of time, getting results in a certain amount of time. Thank you, Christine. Working in a certain amount of time, right? Because if we just say, getting results, is it being productive if you are getting results over the span of 6 months when really you needed to get it done in 3 weeks? So it's kind of a, that's getting into the weeds. But you can think of all different things, but they all kind of go back to time. And there are a lot of other things that can be affected. So all of the terms that y'all are saying are, getting results, working, what productivity actually is. And so what I want to talk to you about tonight is what things can mess that up, what things can take away your productivity, what can mess up your time, and then also what else are those things messing up in addition to the time. So the first one is perfectionism. And many of you in here are the same as me. I'm a recovering perfectionist. Some of you may not be, and maybe all of you are. But if you can relate, give me a shout out. Yes, ma'am, I am perfectionist. I'm a recovering perfectionist. So perfectionism can affect time by you delay decisions when you're a perfectionist, right? You want to get something done, and so you decide not to do it because you're waiting on something. So you're delaying a decision. And so not only are you taking time not doing it, but you're delaying whatever it is that you are trying to do. So if you're trying to create social media, for example, and you're trying to create reels, that's something that's on my mind now because I'm trying to get good at those and they're really hard for me. But if you're trying to perfect it and get it done and you just set it aside, then you're delaying the time that goes out, right? So you're affecting your time because you're wasting your time doing it, but then you're also affecting your outcome because you're not getting the thing out. You're delaying the decision, right? So you're spending too much time on things, spending too much time rather than getting things done. You're spending too much time. Perfectionism can affect other things. So it directly affects your productivity, and having that productivity being affected by your perfectionism can affect your brain capacity, right? Because as a perfectionist, you are constantly thinking in your head that you want things to be a certain way, that you have to know something first before you do something else, and it all needs to line up, right? So that brain capacity gets filled up, and then you don't have room for other things. You don't have the capacity to take in more information or to have the, all of the brain power you need for the meetings that you have, right? Yes, hey Donna, perfectionism slows me down all of the time. Yes, it does. It slows us down and it takes away our brain capacity. Another thing it can do is it can affect our confidence because we are spending too much time on things and we're saying to ourselves, I wish I wasn't like this. Oh, I wish I could do it without being this way. Or, oh, I wish I could just do it like that. Why can't I do it like that person? And so you have all of these shoulds, right? We should ourselves a lot, and especially if you're a perfectionist. And so it hurts your confidence because you're not getting things done. Those delayed decisions are hurting your confidence. And that plays into the next thing on my list, which is mindset. So your confidence is a mindset, but also your mindset around other things. So being in the mood to do something, being having energy and being excited or motivated. So your mindset can really be affected by perfectionism. And for those of you that are recovering perfectionists, you know what I'm talking about. Christine says, I try so hard to remind myself, progress, not perfection. Yes, anything is better than nothing. Something is better than nothing, right? And I too say this, and it's something that you live with and you work through and you find tools to work through it. And it's just something that you have to, deal with. But I want to bring the awareness of all of the stuff that it affects, because it really is affecting more than just your time. It affects us it prevents us from getting started, right? We don't get started because we don't have all of the information, or we think that we need to have all of these things and then we'll start. And so then, that turns into the delayed decisions, and that turns it. So it's kind of like a big domino effect, right? It's affecting our time, but then it's, taking away all of the other stuff too. So big domino effect. Perfectionism. So that was the first one. I have a whole handful, so I'm gonna talk kind of fast so I can get through all of them. So a second productivity saboteur is lack of systems. Okay, so what happens when you don't have systems to do things? And by a system is, I'm thinking of, it could be anything. A system could be when you walk in the door, your purse goes on the side table, your keys go on the hook, and your shoes go on the shelf. Okay, so that's a system. It could be when you are filing files, when you download something from the internet, you download it, you change the name of it, you move it to the file that it belongs to, and then you send it off, or then you put it on social media or whatever it is. That's a system. Okay, so when we have a lack of systems, that is a productivity saboteur, because when you don't have systems, it's affecting your productivity. You can do things quicker, you can do things more smoothly, you can do them easier, and I guess that's the same as smooth, if you have a system. So obvious reasons, you're searching forever for something, you're trying to find that file that you have, it's somewhere, I thought it was on my desktop, no, maybe it's in my downloads, no, maybe I put it in Google Drive, oh wait, maybe I just emailed that to myself, right? So there's all of that time because you don't have a system for the files, okay? It takes longer to do those tasks. So that's the obvious, time, what it affects the time, right? And then I forgot to put my phone on do not disturb. Okay, so what else does it affect other than time? It can cause you to burn out. So if you don't have systems in place, you can get completely burnt out because you are constantly having to send these emails out one at a time during your lunch. Somebody was talking about that in my coaching program today. And so I have that top of mind. And she's like, I have to have somebody do this for me, or I need to automate it or something. And it was because she didn't have a system. Hey, Allison, how are you? Hi. So she didn't have a system. And so it was taking her so much longer to do something. It was making her frustrated. And if you're doing that all the time, you will get burned out. And that's with anything. If you don't have a system to get your children dressed in the morning and out the door for school, it's going to be frustrating and hard and difficult and take you longer. If you don't have a system for anything, it's going to cause that burnout. It's going to get you more overwhelmed. It's going to cause the anxiety and all the things. So not having a system isn't only affecting your time, because it's taking your time away, but it's also causing the burnout, the overwhelm, all the stress and the feelings and stuff, which is affecting your brain. So having systems is not only good because you can be organized and you can have things in place, and you can find things and stuff, but it's also so that you can have an internal, less amount internally of overwhelm and anxiety, right? You can have more internal peace by having systems. Let's see. You just gave me an aha. Systems are not just for business. Oh no. Yes, lady, they are not just for business. Systems are for everything. And Allison, I think I mentioned right before you popped on, a system is anything from the example I gave. A system could be when you come in the door, your purse goes on the side table, your key goes on the hook, and your shoes go on the shelf. That's a system. When you take your clothes off from your closet, I rewear things like sweaters and tops, especially during COVID, or COVID times got me to where I rewear things and I don't wash things over and over again. So a system, when you're taking your clothes off, you take off your shirt, you put it on the hanger, you take off your pants, you put it on the hanger, right? You take off your socks, you put them in the hamper. That is a system. Whether it seems like it is or not, it is. Having a place to put your things is a system. So in your closet, in your kitchen, when you're going to find your utensils and having them all in one place, That's a system. And then that flows into our business, not only for the digital stuff, the stuff on our desktop, the stuff in, on our computers and our downloads, our phones and all of that, but also the systems that we have when we come into our office or sit at our desk or our table or our bed, wherever we're working, right? When you sit down, if you don't have a system of, okay, this goes over here, this goes over here, I plug this in, I do this and that, then you're taking up more time. You're wasting time and you're causing all of that frustration, overwhelm, and anxiety. So lack of system is a very big productivity saboteur. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3, lack of white calendar space. Okay, so what do I mean by white calendar space? When you think about a calendar, think of a Google Calendar that has all of the colors and all of the things all over the place, right? Think of where there isn't color and light items. How much time do you have that doesn't have something assigned to it? And so you can do things to help this. You can time block and you can batch and do all those kinds of things to help find white calendar space. But if you don't have it, then you don't have time. That's why a lot of us are like, I don't have any time. I don't have any time, because it has a lot to do with lack of system and then some other things that I'm going to list. But if you don't have certain things in order, then that's going to cause you to not have any time. So when you don't have that white calendar space, that means that you are saying yes all the time. And that's one of the next ones. It's actually the next one on the list. So you're saying yes all the time. It can affect others. Okay, so if you don't have that white calendar space, you could be double booking yourself. You could be booking yourself really close where you're late to meetings, you're late to appointments. And so it can affect others because you're missing appointments because you can't make it, or, you didn't even see it because there was so much on there. It too can also cause burnout, just like the lack of systems. And a lot of, actually all of these things can, right? They can cause us to be overwhelmed. They can cause us to be anxious, frustrated, all of that stuff. Hey mom, he just tried calling me. I'm on here. Okay, so lack of white calendar space. So what you can do is when you are planning out your week, planning out your day, do you set aside time for driving to your appointments? Do you set aside time to go and get your lunch out of the kitchen, even if you're going to eat it at your desk? Because we don't set aside time for going to the bathroom 4 times and going to the kitchen to get a drink and going to the kitchen to get lunch and having the kids come home from school in the middle of work time, all of that stuff. So if you don't have any white space, then what happens? Everything gets all jumbled up and then we don't have time. So I'm going to start recapping as I go through. Perfectionism was number 1, lack of systems, lack of white calendar space, which then went into my 4th one, saying yes. So when you say yes, and I am fully responsible for this one myself, I say yes too much, and I'm very much working on this. I have actually been very proud of myself, and I have been saying no the past couple of months. And it is very difficult when you are someone that likes to help others, when you are somebody that's a people pleaser, when you will just, you just like helping, or it's just a habit to help others. It's really hard to say no. And so if you can say no, then you aren't putting even more into that calendar that doesn't have any white space. So being aware of, oh my gosh, I've got so much, say no. You don't have to go to that thing. You don't have to take on that other task. You don't have to help that person with XYZ online because it's not your thing to deal with. It's okay to say no. And that's really hard. So hear from me that you can say no, because I can say no too. We can all say no, and it can actually feel really good when we start doing that more because it can help us out. It can help our future selves, right? Okay. So the next one, the next productivity saboteur is distractions. Okay, so I want all of you, because there's a handful of you on live, tell me, what are your distractions when you are working, or when you are trying to focus with your children, or when you're trying to do whatever it is that you're being productive with, whatever you're trying to get, whatever work you're trying to get done. What are the distractions that cause you to veer off and go in other directions all the time? Could you put some of those in the comments? That would be super awesome, so I can have a sip of my wine. I know that there's a delay, so I'll give you a second. Facebook rabbit holes. Yes, ma'am. Facebook or any phone notifications. Yep. Notifications, social media. So Facebook, going down the Facebook rabbit hole. What happens? You open up, and especially for anyone that has an online business, oh my goodness, it is so difficult because, for me, I have my Facebook group. I have my Facebook group for my program. I live online. And so I go, oh, I need to go message that person. And I open it up, but then I see the ad of the bathing suit that I want this summer because it's going to make me look skinny. Or I see the friend that I haven't seen in 10 years pops up on my feed all of a sudden, and I haven't seen her in a while. And then you just start scrolling, right? Your eyes glaze over, and 10 minutes later, it's, oh my gosh, why did I even come in here? And so that is definitely a distraction. Social opportunities with friends, text messages. Yes, definitely. Let's see, what are some other things? I love these answers. Nice weather, begging me to go outside. I love that because you wouldn't even think that as being a saboteur, right? But if you are somebody that loves being outside and you feel trapped sitting at your computer or trapped doing whatever you want to just go for a walk, you want to go hiking, you want to exercise, take your animals out, whatever it is. And that can be super distracting. And so it can sabotage your productivity, because if you stay out too long, you're not going to have your time that you need for other things, right? Social media, my dog's begging for attention. Yeah, when you're sitting and the dog wants up on your lap, or they're whining because they need to go out and go potty, or, they climb up on things, or whatever it is, they bark when you're on the phone, all of that kind of stuff. Definitely distractions. Squirrels playing outside. Yes, that's so funny. Actually, that is a super distraction, not just that, because I immediately thought the dogs, but no, that is a distraction too, because I love watching the squirrels, hop onto the roof and listening to them run over. So yes, that is too. Definitely a distraction. Mary Fran just said family members. So that was the next thing on my list. People can be distractions. Your environment can be a distraction. So in many different ways. So if you're working at your table, for example, that in and of itself could be a distraction because it's out in the open, and you could have other family members just walking by and, not even talking to you, but just the atmosphere is a distraction. It could be where you have an office and you go in, but when you go in there, it's a disaster and you have stuff all over your desk and you have stuff all over. That is also a distraction, because whether you think about it or not, subconsciously, you're looking at that stuff and you tense up and you don't even realize that it's happening. So that can definitely be a distraction as well. So I love all of these answers that you're giving, and just think of all of the different things, right? We've got the notifications, the little red dots on our phone, the buzzing, the beeping, the, phone calls, the, wanting to check your email all the time. All of that stuff is such a time suck. So distractions, the obvious time suck, it wastes time. They waste our time. Now, some things like a family member needing something, or your dog having to go to the bathroom, or, all of those things, you can't necessarily take care of them. They're not going to go away. You're not going to get rid of your child from, crying when they need something, or coming and tugging on you because they want you to play, whatever, right? But that goes back to white space on the calendar, having systems and all that other stuff, because when you have all of these other things, you're saving up some time, so then it's not so bad, right? So the obvious, it wastes time. It dramatically reduces your focus, right? When you go down the rabbit hole, you're trying to focus on something and then boom, you're scrolling and looking at bathing suits. And I've mentioned it before. I can't remember. I think it takes 23 minutes, 27 minutes to refocus after you have taken your focus away from doing something. So if you're in the middle of doing writing emails for the day, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna power through my emails, I'm gonna answer everything, I'm gonna make sure that all of the stuff gets done with the email, and you're doing it, and then all of a sudden your dog starts begging, and then you pick them up, and then they love on you, and then you start, playing with them, and then you go put them outside, and then you go get a drink out of the kitchen, and then all of a sudden you want to go back to do your email, but it's going to take you over 20 minutes to get that focus back. So not only are you wasting the time, you're reducing your focus and wasting time, because it's going to take that much more time to get back in to what you're doing. And it can also turn into procrastination, because after we're up and we're doing something, we get distracted, we start doing something else because we really don't want to do that email stuff, right? Okay, so that leads me right into, there's another thing that I wanted to tell you on my list. So all of that has to do with time, but something else that distractions can actually wreck or mess up or sabotage is the quality and timeliness of your completed work. So if you need to have something done on time, if you have to have something done for your child before they go to school the next morning, if you have to have something done for your boss or something done for a client or whatever it is, the quality might go down because you don't have time, or it might be late because you are a perfectionist and you spent too long on it, right? So it can affect others, and it can affect your work. It can also affect your goals. Maybe you won't meet your goals. Maybe you are delaying your goals with these things, right? Okay, so the next one on the list, we only have 3 more. I know that my list is long, but there's a lot of them, and there's a whole bunch probably that I didn't list, but I wanted to make sure to go over these. So the next one's procrastination. So we've got perfectionism and procrastination, and usually if you're one, you're the other. They kind of come as a pair, kind of like Red Lobster and Olive Garden. Okay, they usually come in a pair. So when you procrastinate, obviously you're delaying whatever it is that you want to do. So it's going to take you way longer to do a task if you're procrastinating. It's going to maybe never even get done because you're procrastinating, right? It delays it from getting done, and maybe something might not be done at all. So that's actually not just affecting your time, that's affecting something that could be making you money. I know that is actually, that happens to me. I'm not making money with some things because I haven't done them. And, we sit there and say, well, what, I wish that I could do that or whatever. But if you're procrastinating, we have to take responsibility for how we spend our time. And even if we are a procrastinator, we can't make that an excuse and then just say, well, I'm just that way. We can work through it. You can work through it. Okay. Especially with having the awareness and knowing. And sometimes you just say to yourself, I am procrastinating and I shouldn't be doing this, and I'm doing it anyway. And that's okay, because sometimes we just have to do it. But if you can be aware and say, I'm procrastinating, I need to stop, and bring yourself back, right? Just having the awareness. This too can affect your mindset and your confidence. Remember, I was talking earlier about the perfection and the perfectionism affecting your confidence and your mindset and stuff. This too can affect that. It can affect the brain capacity because you're thinking about not wanting to do something, right? Trish says, I am a horrible procrastinator. Let's reframe, Trish. You are a recovering procrastinator. So being a recovering procrastinator, you have awareness of the fact that you have been that way and that you are changing it, right? So that's the first way to get out of it, is to kind of reframe how we look at it. And that's the mindset, right? So when we think, I'm a horrible procrastinator, I always procrastinate all the time on everything I do. When I do this, I procrastinate. When I do this, I wait till the last minute. And I hear you. I say those things too. I very much, though, try to reframe things now. And if you don't reframe things, then that can affect how you think. It affects how you think about what you're going to do or what you think about yourself, right? Yeah. Trying to be. Okay. All right. So the next one on the list is not having a plan. If you have been here for a while, you know that I'm all about having a plan when it comes to anything, when it comes to decluttering, when it comes to organizing your space, when it comes to whatever it is, having a plan is going to save you time. If you don't have a plan, it is going to sabotage your productivity and you're going to be wasting your time. You're going to be spinning your wheels. You're going to be bouncing from here to there and everywhere. When it comes to organizing, you're going to be bouncing from space to space to space. Nothing's going to get finished. Your clutter is going to come right back. When you're doing it with work, you're doing this task, that task, this task, that task, and nothing's going to get done. You get things done a lot quicker when you focus, when you have a plan of what you're going to do for the day or what you're going to do for the week. And this goes for absolutely everything, not just business. Okay. So not having a plan can waste your time. So what else can not having a plan affect? So it can affect things from getting started and or completed, just like procrastination does. So even if you are not a procrastinator, if you are not a planner, if you don't plan things, if you're not intentional, which is moving into the next thing, if you're not intentional, then you're going to be doing all these other things. I had said, I think I said this before. I know I said it in the organizing lab, but I have this little analogy. So willy-nilly only makes the dance go longer. It's never going to get you the kiss at the end, right? So if you're dancing and you're being all willy-nilly and you're being fun and you don't know how to do the line dance that everybody else is doing, it's all good because you're dancing and the dance is going to keep on going. But guess what? You're not going to get that kiss at the end of the dance because you don't have your plan for going over and talking to that guy and, getting him to give you a kiss at the end of the night. Okay. And so that analogy only works if you think about dancing and you actually would want to have a kiss at the end, but you get my my idea there, right? If you're going all over the place, you don't have a plan, it can make things feel like you're getting stuff done, but really you're not getting stuff done. You're not getting to your goal. You're not finishing your thing. You're not saving time. Okay. So it affects all of the things that we are trying to get done, not just waste our time. Okay. And all of these, you are probably seeing a very big pattern. They kind of all blend together, but they're kind of all different as well, because each little tiny thing that you do, if you work on all of them, that is what actually ends up gaining you more time. Because if you just plan, that's going to help you. But if you don't have systems and you keep procrastinating and you keep being a perfectionist and you keep saying yes to everything, then it's going to save you a little bit of time, but it's not going to help fix all of the other things, right? And so that's another point of why I wanted to bring this to your awareness, to have awareness for this. So the last thing on the list is acting rather than reacting. And so that is lack of intention. So not having a plan, the last one, is not being intentional. And with organizing your house, I call it the bounce. right? So you start in the kitchen, and then you go to your closet, and then you go to the pantry, and then you go to a junk drawer, and all of a sudden you've decluttered a bunch of stuff, but then nothing's really done. Like you got rid of a lot of stuff, but you didn't organize your closet. You got rid of some clothes. Now, that's freaking awesome when you get rid of things, right? So I'm not downplaying that. But if you are not intentional, if your goal and your end game is to get your closet organized, then that's not going to do it. That's just having a little bit, that's just getting rid of stuff. And you got rid of a whole lot of stuff, but if your goal or your end game is to do the closet, that's not going to get it for you, right? So if you are intentional and you say, okay, I'm getting rid of all this stuff from the closet, then you keep going in the closet. You keep going in the closet so that you can finish it and get it to where you want it to be. And I also talk about this in the lab. Mary Fran can tell you that it's, if you are intentionally bouncing, that is okay. And that is way better than bouncing. Because when you're intentionally bouncing, it's okay, I'm taking a break with this. I can't do it anymore. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to work on it for a little bit. And that's because that still is the awareness that I'm still working on this, right? And now I'm going to do this instead of this and this and this and this. And that works the same with business or with working, whatever you're working on. If you're working on your kids, if you're working on your program, if whatever it is that you're working on, if you have intention, you're going to save more time and you're going to get things done, which is what you said was productivity at the beginning, right? So that all comes around full circle. What did you say, Mary Fran? Being busy does not mean that we are being productive if we are not busy doing the important things to get us toward our goals. Yes, ma'am. Woo! Okay. I love it. All right. So that was the list. How many do I have? 1, 2. Okay. I'm just going to read them and then I'll count. Okay. So perfectionism, right? We all know about perfectionism, and not just time though. What else? Brain capacity, confidence, mindset, all that other stuff. Okay. Lack of systems. And we know that systems are everywhere, from putting our pajamas on to, our morning routine to having a filing system, right? So having systems will, if you don't have systems, you can get super burnt out. You can get super frustrated and you're going to take longer to do things. You're going to waste time. Lack of white calendar space. Remember, you want to say no because the next one is saying yes. You want to say no to things. You want to keep white space on your calendar so that you can build in for when your tire goes flat or when your kid's homesick from school, or anything like that, because we can't control those things. So if we don't overextend ourselves all of the time, then that will help us when those things happen. And the next one was saying yes. Okay. So, remember, that affects not just us, it can affect others because we are late on our appointments, we miss appointments, we're burnout, so we don't call people back, we're not timely with our emails, all that kind of stuff. All right. Next one, distractions. You all had some wonderful, wonderful words for distractions. I loved it. There was dogs and people and all of that kind of stuff. Notifications, Facebook, Instagram, watching reels, all the social media, rabbit holes, your environment, all of those distractions waste time. It dramatically reduces your focus, and it can also delay you getting things done. Just like what Mary Fran just said, you're not going to meet your goal if you are being distracted, right? If you have all of these things, you're not going to meet that goal of getting your 5 tasks done today. I don't even mean like a goal for the month or whatever. I'm talking about, your daily goal of, okay, I'm going to do my top 3, or your goal for the week to do your top 3. Distractions are a huge saboteur. Okay. Yes, Carla, write this as a reminder. Write it down. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that was 5. Procrastination, that's number 6. It takes us longer to do things. It affects our mindset. It affects our confidence. It takes away our brain power. It affects other people because we don't do things, and so then they can't do things, right? It delays things getting done, prevents something from even getting started. So procrastination, we really need to work on that. Not having a plan, number 7, waste time. Remember the willy-nilly analogy, and it affects things same as procrastination can. Sometimes you don't get started or you don't complete things because you didn't have a plan and you weren't intentional, which is number 8, lack of intention. And I just remembered another one that I'm going to add. So lack of intention, if you are acting rather than reacting, you're spending way more time on things and you're not going to have time because you're always going to be running and trying to catch up instead of saying, okay, this is what's coming. I need to do this so that it'll be done, right? So number 9, I'm going to add number 9, consistency. Not having consistency can definitely be a productivity saboteur, because now if you're not consistent, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're wasting time, right? It can sometimes, because if you're recreating things, then you're wasting time. But consistency really doesn't mean you're wasting time, but if you're not consistent, you're not going to be as productive. So we all brush our teeth at night, right? Maybe you don't. Most of us brush our teeth at night, right? So if you are brushing your teeth every night, you brush your teeth every night, that's consistent, right? You're doing it. So we automatically just brush our teeth before bed and we don't have to think about it. But if you don't do that all of the time, then, you may be brushing your teeth, at 1:00 in the afternoon because you forgot to brush your teeth or whatever. And then you actually start thinking about it. And so you're not wasting time, but you're not being consistent in building that habit. Because when we do something over and over again, it gets us to where we don't have to use that brain capacity, that brain power to think about it. It just happens. So building the habits of doing something over and over again, that's going to allow us to get more done, to be more productive. So consistency, right? That was 9. Consistency, lack of attention, no plan, procrastination, distractions, saying yes, lack of white calendar space, lack of systems, and perfectionism. Wow. Okay, that was a lot. I've been talking for a long time tonight, ladies. Okay, and I don't know if there's any men here. So everybody, y'all. Hey, Karen, how are you? All righty. Well, that's all that I have for this evening. I have talked a lot tonight, so I hope that this was very helpful. Like Carla said, go get a pen and write all of this down, because it's good to have the awareness of what you're doing, right? So you can start doing the little bits that will save more time in the long run. All right. Okay. So I want to tell you about the new digital disconnect session that I am offering. It is a free 30-minute digital disconnect session. And what that means is it's focusing on your digital organization, and it's helping figure out where your systems are lacking. If you have systems, if you need systems, doing a little bit of an audit of what's working or what isn't, and trying to figure out a direction or way that you can go in order to help that. So it's a digital disconnect session, 30 minutes free, and I will put the link in the comments, okay? It's, I can't remember the last little bit of the link, so I wanna make sure to have that correct. So I will put it in the comments, and there will also be posts about it in the group as well. So schedule your free digital disconnect session, because then we can chat together and get you some systems going. And that's it for this evening. So I hope that y'all are having your favorite beverage, whatever it is, whether it's tea, vodka, wine, whatever, and you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday, whether it's day, night, or morning, whatever it is. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. And if you're watching the replay, remember to put #replay so that I know that you're watching and I can come and say hi. Alrighty, I will be back next week, same time, same place, with some more fun organizing information for you for Wine Wednesday. Alrighty, I will see you later. Bye.